Hold on, so it's connected. Perfect. Welcome back again. Along with us for the keynote, we have Dr. Ganesh Natarajan with us. Welcome to Mumbai AIS Summit, Mr. Ganesh. And then a few things before I hand over to take over to Mr. Ganesh, I would like to say that by the end of his session, by last 3 to 5 minutes, when he'll be open to the questions to accepting from the audience, what you have to do is, you should actually click on raise hand button to come on stage, where we were going to accept it, when the question session is open. Or that raise hand icon is at the right hand side of your screen. If you can see, there's a button out there below the sessions. So that's your key to actually gateway to come on stage and actually ask questions to Mr. Ganesh. Or if you don't want to come on stage, there's a questions section. You can click on that and just key in your questions when the session is happening. So Mr. Ganesh can actually pick up those questions when he's available to answer it. Okay, over to you, Mr. Ganesh. You can start the presentation as well. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much, and real pleasure to be with all of you. And great job by, I think, Ajay, Santosh, everybody to put this together, and that too in a brand new format called Air Meet. I'm too used to Google Hangouts and Microsoft Teams and Zoom, so this is going to be interesting. So let me just pull up my presentation, and then I'll walk you through. Great. So the topic I chose for this session, and I'll just take maybe about, let's see, it's now 10:21. Take about 15 minutes and then leave it to whatever time the organizers give us for discussing. But sure. Basically, we find that
Mr. Ganesh, can you click on hide there, the link at the bottom, hide, so that it's not disturbing your prayer. Thank you so much.
Sure. So basically, I think what we're talking about is AI is really going mainstream. And people who thought that AI was just something that was in the future and with the techies, I think they've really realized what's happening. But interestingly enough, I mean, while AI and automation and robotics and what have we was already disrupting the economies worldwide, we now have this monster called COVID. And I just thought I'll combine the two and say, where are we going with this whole future of economy, future of the industry, etc. The first part, I mean, if you look at the first box, you'll find that, okay, this we know. I mean, 52% of companies in the Fortune 500 have gone bankrupt. This is a normal cycle of evolution and destruction. Interestingly, we are finding that this changes from 9 to 12 trillion, but $1 trillion is a lot of money. And we are getting estimates that COVID will knock off over $9 trillion from economic wealth, which means there'll be a huge imperative for corporations to cut costs, maximize focus on customers, automate. World Economic Forum has said that 75 million jobs will be displaced by automation, nothing to do with COVID. Don't forget, ILO recently said that 190 million jobs will get destroyed through COVID, and that's a big one. But we also have predictions that 130 million new jobs will be created through digital. So ultimately, what are we? I mean, forget about all the numbers. We're just saying that if we are with it, and I'm glad that people in this conference are here to spend time, if we know the future, if you're prepared for the future, we will be successful. So don't worry about that. But it is a fact that COVID will kill off more companies than people, because a lot of small companies who don't have a differentiated point of view will unfortunately just die and go away. The next normal, I'm sure most of you have heard the terminology called DARQ. My friend Paul Doherty, who's the CTO of Accenture, he actually talked about DARQ about 12 months ago, and it's gone mainstream. And essentially, we talk about blockchain, which is the whole smart contracting, distributed ledgers. We'll come back to AI, of course. Reality, what Satya Nadella calls mixed reality, which is a combination of virtual and augmented. I mean, even in one of the very large social ventures which I run in Pune, we're actually using virtual reality to educate slum children on how to work in healthcare, etc. So it's very, very mainstream. Quantum computing, we're still to see the benefits of quantum computing and 5G. But I'm sure with the recent Mukesh Ambani, Facebook tie-up, and so many other things, you will see a lot of this happening as we go. And AI, of course, will be everywhere. And we'll come back to this. We'll be assisting, augmenting, doing autonomous work, but will help us to reimagine the future of work, which is really what we are talking about today. Emerging business models. Most of you who are in digital transformation know this. It started off purely as cost models, and we talked about free and freemium and aggregating buyers and transparency of price, reverse auctions, etc., etc. and which was the traditional old winners, the Googles and the Alibabas and Amazons and Facebook. If you look at the experience model, which is what is happening today, it's a lot more about customer empowerment. I mean, yesterday for the first time, I spent an hour and a half on Netflix, and it's addictive. So I think it's the experience, their ability to customize what you would like to see, personalization, instant gratification. You're not wasting your time watching ads and watching stuff in a movie theater, but getting this. I think all that is important. So whether it's Netflix, it's Disney itself, Tesla and BMW, Apple, of course, reduced friction in terms of interacting with a product, and huge automation. What I am personally most excited about, I've been most excited about for the last almost 6 years, I mean, ever since we started doing digital platforms in Zensar Technologies, is this whole concept of the multi-people ecosystem platform. So here we are finding that companies like Siemens, and I'll talk about that a little later, or GE for that matter, Caterpillar, many of the mainstream companies are now being able to talk platforms. I mean, there was a talk, I mean, this is a wrong time to talk about the airline industry, but GE, in fact, I was having a chat once with Jeff Immelt, and he was saying that the time will come when 98% of aircraft engines of GE, which is their main product, by the way, will not be sold, but will actually be leased, and will charge people on 99.5 to 99.7% uptime. So this is all about platforms, whether for HR, customer management, etc., which are beginning to happen. Now let's dive into AI. So in post-COVID, what are the changes we must expect? First, of course, I mean, we're all talking about this. We're all saying digital is mainstream. People are working from home, etc., etc. But you will find many more digital platforms. You will find on shop floors as well as offices extensive automation. I'm actually investing in a startup which is inventing low-cost robots during the time of COVID, which can actually go and take temperature and measures, etc. So suddenly the PPEs will not be required if robots can take care of all that. So all these are very, very here and now kind of applications. A lot of machine learning and deep learning, moving from master data management using AI to predictive, prescriptive analytics is actually happening. So where do we see AI maturing to, which is really what Ajay talked about in the first session, and what is the impact on human contribution? The simplest way to imagine AI is to say it will be assistive, in the sense it won't disrupt anything, but it will actually help human beings. Augmentative, giving us more options, more capabilities, etc. In a sense, what I talked about in Netflix. Autonomous, which is the scary part, where you can have cognitive RPA, rapid machine learning, deep learning, and many processes could well be redundant if you want to see it that way, including robotics. And complete transformation, which is what we call cyber-physical interaction. Can any human being interact with 4 robots, a lot of AI, and make life and business cases that much better, faster, cheaper? Industries are already adopting this. I mean, insurance is moving from this generalized life or health insurance policy to usage-based insurance. E-commerce, I mean, cognitive personal shopping is the name of the game. In retail, 50% of the large retailers have started using robots, both on social media as well as in terms of what they do in the retail stores. Manufacturing, and I'll take a couple of examples from manufacturing. More than 40% of field service calls are now managed by virtual service technicians. Finance, of course, blockchain's natural partner is finance, and we'll see that happening in trade finance worldwide. Healthcare, if you look at the prediction, by 2026, 25% of paramedics, emergency rooms will use 3D printing, will deliver real-time wound care, and it will be completely different from the healthcare we know it today. So let me just take one use case, and if any of you are interested, feel free to reach out. I mean, we are in our Center for Artificial Intelligence, we are actually researching use cases for every industry, and happy to share that with you. And this is just one of what we figured. If you look at maintenance, manufacturing, for instance, predictive maintenance was the first killer app. But now we are going to demand forecasting using AI, intelligent data security solutions, human robotics. I mentioned this earlier. I mean, if you look at many electronics companies in Shenzhen in China, I mean, from 3,000 women working on the shop floor, it's now 300 women and 1,200 robots. So the collaborative ecosystems are really emerging. Completely intelligent factory operations. I mean, in theory, you don't need a single human being on the shop floor for full production. And application of digital twins. So let me just take you through a couple of examples. This is what we see as the factory of the future. And I won't, again, talk you through the whole thing. But self-optimizing machines, self-healing machines, if you go circularly, I mean, virtual agents literally providing operators, whoever operate, and I'm not talking about operators on the shop floor, for operators in the control room. So they have everything on demand. Automated guided vehicles, so all the parts movement is automated. And then, of course, generative design, which is something that we are really seeing. So you can actually adapt and create lot sizes of one. Image recognition to automatically adapt to locations of parts. Future demand predictions, assistive systems, predictive maintenance. So if you look at this factory of the future, it's completely not human driven. How much of humans will have to actually get in is our decision. We don't really need it, but human beings will have to be employed. So we'll find solutions for these type of things. This is my favorite example of what both Siemens actually started, this concept of digital twinning. But if you look at what GE is doing in aviation, literally they can predict through a digital twin the ability to model, track the state of the engine, and complete what you can see in that blue line. Analytic modeling, predictive maintenance is replacing unscheduled maintenance. So everything can be planned, 100 sensors in every performance parameter. As the plane is running, it's kind of generating data all the time. And how do you take that data? How do you predict the problem? How do you self-correct the problem? So this is absolutely amazing. For people like me who started in manufacturing and have now moved heavily into IT, I think this combination is absolutely fabulous. So let me just come to the last part. So there are multiple use cases. I mean, the factory I just talked about, but if you look at logistics, I mean, supply chain is completely being transformed. I mean, because of routing of delivery traffic, fuel efficiency, everything is managed through real-time forecasting. Very valuable for customer service management, because anytime a customer calls you, I mean, the days have gone when you will typically wait on the phone and get a call center operator to come and talk to you. Most of it is automated. AI for very targeted marketing and sales. I mean, if any of you run small companies, what we are advising to many of our clients is this is the time when you can actually target persona, reach out to people. When people are on lockdown, they're willing to give you time. So don't treat this as a time to just watch Netflix. I mean, this is a time for you to reach out, find new customers, give killer ideas to your existing customers, and huge opportunities there. Building blocks for the post-digital organization, what I talked about, the DARQ organization. Business transformation is here and now. COVID is transforming business, automation is transforming business, digital is transforming business. But in every aspect of organizations, you will find this change happening. So there's leadership transformation. Okay, there's no longer a CEO who does not understand AI. He has to, otherwise, it's really obsolete. Omni Experience, which is the first killer app, because this chief marketing officer, I mean, she's the one who's going to be most demanding in terms of AI applications. And if she's not, she should be. Because reaching, I've just talked about it, repeating business, attracting new customers. Workforce transformation, I think a lot of millennials are entering the workforce. They're very, very savvy in terms of technology. But how do you encourage them to upskill, reskill themselves all the time? My favorite author, Yuval Noah Harari, has written very eloquently in Homo Deus about this, saying that literally every 5 years, you will have to come into a workforce with a completely new set of skills. I mean, no engineering or management degree you acquired is good enough to last you through the next 50 years of your career. Operating model transformation, I talked about automation, but it's all about process cycle optimization, productivity improvement, automating agile processes, and information transformation itself. I mean, the whole new business models that we're talking about, which is what is exciting many, many startups that we are working with today, is that, look, they're talking about models that didn't exist in the past. I mean, obviously, even Airbnb or unfortunately Oyo Rooms also started with that model. And that's a different topic, actually, saying that how do you ensure that we don't expand so fast that we run out of steam, but very thoughtfully to use these business models and create completely new ideas is what life is all about. So what is a roadmap? If any of you in this room today are eventually looking at building an AI company or implementing a very comprehensive AI analytics strategy, first understand your starting position. Many people have implemented master data management and BI, and they think they've already got AI. I mean, at best, it helps you to do post-mortem analysis. Then you put in a couple of pretty dashboards, and again, you think you've got AI. You don't. I mean, you're just kind of making it simpler for people to understand. But the AI ML journey leads you to what I said earlier. First, predictive analytics, what's going to happen, and prescriptive analytics, what you can make happen. So I think so understand your starting position as a company or as a business in where you are today. If you're working in a large corporation, find a champion, somebody who can sponsor the AI journey. Define your strategy. Strategies will be different for different industries, will be different for different companies in every industry. Develop your full roadmap. In fact, we're currently working with many companies just to define their AI roadmap, not just for, it was 2019, but 2019, 2020, more opportunities because of COVID. 2021, I was on a call yesterday with a Los Angeles client, and we're talking about what great opportunities are going to be there once America starts coming back to work from the fall, which is in September. So develop your own roadmap, deploy small pilots, don't go whole hog, and finally a segmented rollout and capability development. If you do this, you can be very successful in your AI journey. So finally, let me stop by saying AI will let you lead. I mean, that's what it's there for in the COVID digital world. But make sure your AIs are ethical. The concern that many people have on very dominant government and the whole ability to look at every data that emanates from you. If you look at Wuhan, for instance, you can't step out of home in Wuhan today without having a location-based, GPS-based mobile device. You're not allowed. Which means that potentially everything you do, who knows, everything you think is tracked by Big Brother. So these are the questions that we have to ask ourselves, that can we trust our AIs to be ethical and collaborative? I believe it can be done, and I look forward to many of you in this room making that happen. So I'm going to stop here and get out of the way, and then of course we can discuss whatever else we need.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ganesh. You can stop sharing your screen. Yes, perfect. Yeah, I can click on that icon below. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, perfect. Okay.
I actually got to work. So got to work.
Thank you so much. Okay. Hello there. I think we have some question from Ajay is here. So Ajay is raising hand. Let Ajay come on stage. Yes. Hello, Ajay.
Hey, so I'm actually going to read out a question which I have received from Raju Vadal. Yeah, so real AI needs massive domain data to be really useful through learning. It is a long process, and most AI startups have difficulty in accessing domain data which customers are unwilling to share. How do you get over this hurdle?
No, this is a very important question. In fact, we ourselves have an AI digital learning startup called Skills Alpha, and we keep running into this problem because we're saying that, look, we can completely AIize learning preferences, etc. But people say, where's the data? We don't have last year's appraisal properly documented, etc. So it is an issue. And I would strongly recommend, especially for AI startups in India, that you have a small services team which can actually go and sit and hold the hands of people and get their data up. Because without that, you're absolutely right. You can have the best solutions in sliced bread, but at the end of the day, if people are not ready with data, you will have a problem. So thanks for asking the question, and find some workarounds to that.
Okay. So Mr. Ganesh, at the question section, there is some questions. If you can just click on that.
Yep. AI impact and investment in capital markets. I think absolutely. I mean, advisory has been there. What Abhineet is asking this question for the last 4 years. I mean, I spent a year being the digital advisor to McKinsey in India and in the US, and robo advisory was big stuff. So I think enough usage of AI, is it happening? There is never going to be enough usage. Believe me, the rate at which AI is moving, you'll probably see many more applications as we go along. Dilip Pitera is asking, what are your thoughts on AI as augmented intelligence? Absolutely, Dilip. I think this is currently my theme as well, because ultimately, what are the human jobs that will remain? It's jobs that demand innovation, experience, your own cognitive capabilities. If you combine that with potentially everything that is predictable, which can be done by AI, I think you have an enormous opportunity. So whether it's in a startup, whether it's an incumbent company which is looking at AI, I think the whole concept that you're talking about as augmented intelligence will define the future of the world. I completely agree with you. Sorry, there are too many space bars. Getting used to this.
Sure.
Broad industries are displaying a positive outlook towards COVID. Honestly, Tejas, I mean, I was very positive about COVID till 2 days ago, but right now I'm depressed. I mean, I live in Pune, where you'll be amazed at what all is happening, especially in the slum communities. And I'm just hoping that we'll find solutions. We all had great hopes on Gilead, but that's not happening. Today, of course, the Oxford universities talking about actually doing random trials are starting now. Let's see. How can companies build trust while using AI? Asked Shankar Subramania. Shankar, it is extremely important that you use your own wisdom. In the sense, as I said, AI can be used very negatively or very positively. It's almost exactly like the dark web. I mean, the reason why people have stopped using Zoom, for instance, though I love Zoom still, very easy to use, is that a lot of the data, a lot of the conversations move into the dark web, and you have no control over what happens and how people will use your images, etc., etc. So I think the trust is going to happen by people being very selective on areas where they will use AI. I've been advising a couple of our local government clients saying that, look, don't go whole hog. Don't go to autonomous AI today. The country is not ready for it. We have too many people looking for jobs. But augmentative AI will improve customer experience. Assistive AI will put more people to work. So we have to look at what that kind of trust factor will be as we go along. And are there more questions? Yes. Collaborative AI in your closing slide, that's what I said. I mean, I just answered that question again, saying that let's not look at autonomous AI. Let's look at AI that works, as Dilip said, with people who can be very thoughtful about how to use it and then make that happen.
Okay, there is Mr. Amol actually wants to come on stage, so I'm just accepting him. Sure. Hi, Amol.
Hi. Sorry, I have an extended screen, so I'll look at the camera now. So, hi, Dr. Ganesh. First of all, I'm glad to know that you all know Harari, because even I'm a big fan of his. I've read all 3 books in the series: *Sapiens*, *Homo Deus*, and *Journey Lessons of the 21st Century*. So, my question to you is: there's one common thread that is running across his last 2 books, that is *Homo Deus* and *21 Lessons*, is that AI is going to push billions of humans out of the job market, and it is going to create a class of useless people. So, actually, that's the term used in double quotes. So how are we going to deal with this crisis? Because this is going to be a different kind of revolution once AI is rampant or widely used by organizations.
See, I wish I could answer your question positively, Amol, but I think I'm sure you must have heard Harari when he appeared on India Today television a couple of days back. He almost was saying the same thing, saying that, look, jobs will go. Jobs as we know it will go. I mean, you look at the IT industry where I've spent 30 years of my life. Things like application programming, infrastructure management, testing, I mean, they're all being robotized or they're being taken over by AI. But we've still identified 47 new job categories in the IT industry. I mean, things like storytelling, things like understanding audio and visual and sound, etc., etc. So many things that are happening which needs different skills. I mean, the traditional second-tier engineering college has not prepared us for that. But what all our engineering colleges have prepared us for is an engineering mindset. So we have to keep learning. As Harari says, I mean, a truck driver may want to become a yoga instructor. By the time he learns yoga, yoga is automated. So what else does he do? So you have to keep staying ahead of the curve and looking at job opportunities. So that's the only thing I can think of. One last question from Abhishek Mittal on the chat. I mean, how do you see AI impacting jobs? The same thing. I mean, which require human-to-human interaction. Abhishek, I hope human-to-human interaction will continue. Unfortunately, I think there is an unholy nexus of COVID and AI, because AI is killing away all jobs that don't need human interaction, and COVID is ensuring we can't have human interaction. So I think we have to worry about what this lethal combination will do for us. But let's hope we'll find ways to stay relevant as we go on.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Ganesh. Thank you for your time. It was really wonderful, sharing your thoughts and everything. And members, if there's certain more questions which has not been addressed, we are going to address it later from the Mumbai Summit team. So we're going to copy that. Somehow, we're going to make sure that will be addressed by Mr. Ganesh by himself through an email or something like that. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. So we'll be moving to the next talk or the next session. Kindly hold on to social launch, and then we'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes. Thank you so much, Mr. Ganesh, for your time today. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.
Absolutely.